I'm Suella Holland. I'm a photographic artist and I live in Bailieborough in County Cavan. I hail from County Meath and have lived here for the past 10 years. My photographic practice primarily is centred around abandoned buildings, and I operate under the name of Forsaken Ireland. I have a Facebook page and I'm currently working on a website which will be forsakenireland.com, which is coming online supposedly soon. I try. I've been photographing abandoned buildings primarily since 2013, but when I look back at my photographs from the last 30 years, I have always been photographing abandoned buildings, and it wasn't till a light bulb moment hit me that I could just do this, and it's been fantastic. It's been my zen, it's been my inspiration. There's something magical about abandonment, about peeling paint, the textures that you find, the things you find in houses where people look like they've just been sucked up and their dinner dishes are still on the table as if they're just about to have a meal. The stories that you find from these houses, from your own imagination, from people that you meet, they're inspiring, they're amazing, they're part of our history, they're part of our culture, and they're part of our social lives. And not to be forgotten, these things need to be remembered, which is why I'm documenting them. The light bulb moment that I mentioned was, I was at a camera club meeting over in Drogheda, and they had a guest on, Judy Boyle, and she had spent a couple of years just photographing abandoned houses and talking to some of the people who had lived there, and it just dawned on me then that that's what I want to do. Why don't I just do the one thing instead of lots of different things? I enjoy photographing landscapes and I enjoy photographing street photography, but what pushes me, what inspires me, what drives me on is the abandonment, the abandoned buildings, and they're just so amazing. You just got to see them. I've had a couple of exhibitions on the back of some of these photographs. The first one was called Stories That Remain Untold, which was supported by Meath County Council Arts Office, and I held that in the book market in Kells. And it was just such a buzz, being able to show your work to people and get the feedback. And our egos all love a little bit of a boost every now and again, which inspired me then to continue further and to run another exhibition. It's nice to be invited in because it makes it more relaxed. You have time to actually take photographs and not be concerned that somebody might come along to disturb you. The truth of it is that to photograph abandoned buildings, most of the times the doors are open. I would never break in anywhere. So I do actually just go in and see. I'm no bad intent. I go in to make photographs and that's it. I am never going to take anything. My motto is, take nothing but photos, leave nothing but footprints. And I can't remember who said that. So when I go to photographic shoots, sometimes there's a bit of an edge, so maybe an adrenaline buzz, or go early in the morning where you might not be disturbed. It's just to have the peace and quiet to actually photograph properly, because most of these places are poorly lit, they're long exposures, and you need time to just allow the photograph to happen. And for me then as well, that creates a complete zen moment for me. It gives me my peace. I have actually been approached a couple of times, but once I've explained what I'm doing, it turns out fine, and start getting told stories about the place and the history, and most people are pretty okay with it. If there's an opportunity to ask for permission, I will, but most times, unfortunately, there isn't. I'm often asked where locations are, and I don't tell anybody, because the simple reason is that, unfortunately, there are people out there that will do harm. They'll either come in to vandalize, steal, graffiti, burn, so in order to protect the buildings, I choose not to actually share the information publicly, and I think most people respect that and understand that. I recently took part in a project with writer Martin Towie, who wrote a short story based on the history of his great-grandmother, who was interred in St. Bridget's Asylum in Ballinasloe in the 1920s. She had 9 children and was due her 10th. And the story is focused around her state of depression and wanting to leave the family home in the depths of night, and the doctor being called in and him committing her to an asylum. And the truth behind it is that she spent the final 35 years of her life in that asylum till she finally passed away. The book was entitled An Act of Madness, and the images within are taken from the Ballinasloe Asylum itself, as well as the surrounds where inmates were buried, which was not in the main graveyard but off to the side. And also we visited his great-grandmother's old house, which still had the original dresser in it. So we have some photographs in the kitchen of her situation where she would have been all those years ago before she was interred in the asylum. It was a very powerful project for me, and I was honoured to have been a part of it with Martin. I'm hoping he'll come up with another tale someday that we can move on and do another photo book together. I recently photographed an Elvis fan, slight diversion from Forsaken Ireland, but he's incredibly quirky. He has a huge collection of Elvis memorabilia as well as other Americana items. His house is chock-a-block. I enjoy the quirkier side of life and wanted to document his collection and him. His name is Patsy Boylan, and he allowed me into his life for a while to actually photograph him. And we had an exhibition which showed in 2 places so far, and it's ready to go if anybody wants it for a 3rd location. But it was a very fun shoot to do, and it is an eye-opener to witness other people's passions. I called the exhibition Welcome to Graceland, and each of the images within are entitled after one of Elvis's songs. What I do is called urbex photography. It's urban exploration, but as I live in a rural area, I'm more inclined to call it rurix, as in rural exploration. But it's fun. Just have to be careful. If you want to take up urbex photography or give it a go, I would recommend that you go with somebody, preferably someone who's done it before, because then they can give you some tips. Wear decent footwear because there might be nails on the floor. You don't want a sore foot. Be very careful about floors. The wood can be rotten. You have to be super careful. If you're ever considering going upstairs, make sure they're very, very solid. For me, just going out there and practicing, you're dealing with long exposures and low light, and it can be a challenge. Just do it again and again and again, and you'll just keep getting better and better and better. And most of all, just enjoy it. If you enjoy it, it'll be fine, it'll happen.